Karibu sana mtazamaji mwenzangu, jumuika nami katika kipindi hiki cha Tuko Riadha. Yes, tervetuloa to all those Finnish-speaking people. Tervetuloa, welcome again to Tuko Riadha, my friend. Let's indulge, let's exchange ideas, let's exchange knowledge. That's how we grow. Let's share beauty, let's share words of wisdom. Hekima na igawanyike. That is butcher right there. I went colloquial with Swahili. Sounds good. And while it's sounding good, let me congratulate you guys for making it through with me as the year rolls by. 2025 has been exciting. We've had World Championship. Maybe I've had a recap another episode and see what was the biggest moment of the year as far as I'm concerned. I'll just put it down there and you guys can comment on it. I'll call what I call looking back on the year 2025 in athletics. Yeah, I'll dedicate that. In fact, I'll put on my notes there. Let's do that. But today, let's dedicate this to Mo-Athing, the Olympic champion. And yeah, and she changed her name. Why is my iPad acting up every time I'm on here? I don't know. But anyway, that's beside the point. I won't whine about it. It's just the way it is, and I'll go with that. Yeah, so Mo-Athing is in the news for good reasons for me. I think is for those of us who watch sports closely, there's some relationship some athletes have with coaches that you can see that it's not productive. It's not showing any progress. It's stagnated. It's lopsided. It's almost mutated. Like there's no growth. And Mo-Athing has been going to a no growth period for 3 years under the tutelage and the coaching system or the leadership of Bobby Kersee. It's been anything but just that. She's become a poster child of a poster athletes of great, then just stuck. And I think she's been stuck in this shadow under the camouflage as greatness because it's all about Bob Kersee and what he has done in the past. And maybe some athletes that he works with. I don't know how many sprinters he deals with or long jumpers, because that's who Bob Kersee is. Let's give him his flowers. He's good at certain things. You can't be good at everything. Your name can be great. You can be Bob Kersee, the great. Jackie, the wife, was incredible at Ep.284-Athing-Mu-Nikolayev back in the days. Won great world champion, Olympic champion, whatever that is. That's what we know Bob Kersee for. Maybe a few other athletes we can associate him or he has worked with in the last few years. But Mo-Athing was not the kind of athlete you want to see with Bob Kersee. That partnership was problematic from the get-go. You can watch my comments on this. I've talked about that mostly this year. What was Bob Kersee doing with Mo-Athing running 5,000 meters, 3,000 meters, 1,500 meters? And then he makes these arrogant statements. I think they were arrogant because that's what happens when you get to be too big. He made a statement, I'm paraphrasing, that he is not taking away anything from Mo-Athing. Instead, he was putting more into our capacity to be great. So let's look at what he has done in the last 3 years. Great? No. He's been stagnated. In fact, it's gotten worse. Because when Bob Kersee got Mo-Athing, she was an Olympic champion. She was a bronze medalist in the World Championship. She had injuries. But Bob Kersee was supposed to unlock the untapped potential within Mo-Athing. That's what Mo-Athing was hoping. But did he unlock that? Or he put another doorknob and a padlock and drama began? Because that's what really happens in the camp of Bob Kersee and Mo-Athing. It was drama. Look at this year, for instance. What is she doing in Monsac Mount Sac running in the relays 5,000. You could see her, like, you could tell that she was doing this to appease this old coach. She was like, okay, if this is what I'm going to do to get the world championship, I guess Bob Kersee is the best. I'm going to do 5,000. How did that look? Come on, people. Let's just call people for who they are. Even the great coaches have limitations. Okay? And they should acknowledge it. Sometimes Bob Kersee could have said, no, I can't deal with you. I'm not that good in 800 meters. Instead, Bob Kersee takes more thing under his wing. And just like a bunch of eggs, let's experiment, throw him on the wall, hopefully they stick. He owes that woman an apology, honestly, as a great coach as he is, because he's a sprinter's coach. And 800 is not a sprinting event. And for him to even say that, oh, I was going to make a 800, 1500 double in a championship, so she could be the Kelly Holmes that did that in 2004 in Athens. The Brit Kelly Holmes was out of this world when she did that. You can go watch Kelly Holmes doing the 800 and the 1500 double. She was out of this world. Some people are saying there's a cloud hanging around her that she could have. You know what I'm talking about. Forget about that. Bob Kersee thinks Mo-Athing was going to be the Kelly Holmes of the modern era. 3 years later, they are parting ways. She's moving from LA. She's like, I'm going to Dallas. I'm going to Big D. Hopefully she goes back to her old coach, Milton Mallard, who saw her go from a collegiate great NCAA champion to Olympics and broke the national record of America. Hopefully she goes back to the roots. Go back. This is what it is said about athletics. When everything else fails, go back where you first saw love, where you first fell in love with athletics, where when running was just a beautiful sport, where you felt like naive and innocent, yet you loved waking up every morning to go train. Maybe that's where she needs to go. Back to Texas, back to Dallas. Forget about the Hollywood, LA stuff and Los Angeles Bob Kersee. That was a bad marriage, if I may use that word lightly. It was bound to fail, and now they are parting ways. Of course, Bob Kersee had to say the nice things like, "Oh, I wish you well, honey. Hopefully, there's no animosity. Hopefully, you get better in your profession and win a few medals." That's 3 years later, Bob Kersee. I don't blame him. I don't blame Mo-Athing. Most athletes, when they get to the top, instead of being patient to the next thing, you might have a down, but stick to what has worked for you to get to the top. When you get to the top, there are a few choices up there. And this is what happened to people like Josh Awi, who just dumped his Australian coach Ronaldo and said, I'm going solo, or whatever is going to be coaching him. He showed us a few 600 meters indoor, but that's not an event. That's just training, okay? Josh Awi ran 600 in the Nationals. Not literally, but that's where he decided he went out so quick. He's a good 600-meter runner because he faded so bad in the home straight, in the Nationals. I'm not blaming the guy either. Athletes are very impatient. At the highest level, they are very low patience. They want to get better. They want to get the next high. The next high doesn't work. Maybe you might have a down, injuries like Mo-Athing, falling when the cameras were on you didn't help. And then you're crying on the home straight, devastated as we saw it. I don't think she's recovered from that. I said in one of my episodes, that to me was her darkest moment in athletics. She's young. NBC cameras was like, what happened to Mo-Athing? And there was no consolation, there's nowhere to hide. Bob Kersee thinks now to change that, to make her better, he's going to hide her in the 5,000, 3,000. Run around the country in Tennessee, Mount Sac, be protect her from the limelight, the 800. And hopefully she's going to go to Tokyo in the 800 trials in, in Eugene. How did that go? Not in the finalist. That's what happens. More thing needs to go back and find herself. Find herself. The greats have always stuck with the original coaches. I can tell you historically, I follow these people. Wilson Kipketer had a coach from Poland who stayed with him all his career until he retired. He still has the world record, indoor record, 143. Try that. Try that, my friend. 143, 142. I think it's 143. Yeah, maybe. I'll check it out. You have to be loyal a little bit and be patient. People who know you know that at a certain point, you might have injuries. You might have mental breakdowns, but they're at least patient with you. This idea of disposing of coaches who have nurtured you from the nationals, from collegiate to be a national champ to the Olympics, and then you move to Bob Course was a bad move. Hopefully, it's a good move for her. Athing-Mu-Nikolayev moves back to Dallas. Hopefully, she can find a passion in 800 meters. These guys, thumbs up to her move. I'm a big fan of this move. Not Josh Howie with the Aussie, because Aussie guy got him from 147 to 142. Athing came in from college to Olympics with Milton Mallard. She can go back there and find that oasis, those cold, nice waters of running. Hopefully, as she rediscovers herself, we can see her in the next championship or whatever it is, but not 5,000, my friend. That was my take. Happy for Athing-Mu-Nikolayev. Moving back to Big D, where she belongs, not LA, where there's drama and more drama. That was my take, my friend. Talk to you later. What do you think? Am I outspoken? Am I being too hard on Bob Kersee? I want to apologize for that. Out of here. Bye-bye.